Hey everyone, wanted to give you a little tour of my 1990 Subaru Sambar. I recently picked this truck up from an importer in Paterson, New Jersey called Boki USA. They import these trucks from Japan and then sell them domestically. This truck was a 3.5C on the Japanese scale. The model code for this truck is a KS4, so it's four-wheel drive. The badge in the front here says something around the Japanese Agriculture Department, something like that. So this truck presumably came off a farm in Japan. I do have license plates on this truck. It is road legal here in the US, titled, insured. Other than washing it, aesthetically this is how it came from Boki, from the importer. I did a couple little things to freshen it up, but this is still very stock. So I'll take you around the whole truck. So you can see there's a little bit of rust in the back along the frame rails, but it's mostly structural, surface rust. Underneath the truck, everything looks good. That's my spare tire. That is original. The 4 tires I replaced. I was able to get tires off of TireRack.com, so they're US DOT legal. You can see the Sambar is like a frame, body on frame type. You could remove the bed and the body if you wanted to. Really not much rust on this truck. If we come around to the back, that's not my license plate, so don't you worry. I don't know what those badges mean. They're rated to carry 350 kilograms or about 700 pounds. Unlike some of the other Kei trucks, the Sambar has independent suspension, front and rear, which limits its load, bed carrying capacity. But it's supposed to give it a better ride quality. That is the battery box, so that I did repaint. That's why that looks relatively fresh. We have the gas tank here. It's actually pretty large for what this truck is. I have gotten about 8.5 gallons in mine max. So maybe it's like a 9-gallon tank. Again, this truck hasn't been washed or anything, so when they do the Japanese grading, the 3.5 is to reflect the exterior condition of the truck. So on most of the trucks rated 4 and above, you're really not going to have too much rust. 3.5, as you see, it's surface rust, but nothing too bad. These were quite rusty. This is one of the only other things I touched up. Sandblasted and repainted those just with spray paint. I'll show you inside their cab real fast. Now I really had to wash this truck out. I used soap and water I pulled that floor liner out and really washed everything. I don't believe the truck had ever been washed, so I think it existed on a farm, and you know, cigarette smoke and all that. It does smell a bit like an old car, but it's not too bad. The dash is quite simple. Really just a speedometer, temperature gauge, and fuel gauge. That little car diagram on the side tells you when four-wheel drive is selected. That is the stock Japanese radio. The radio works, but the channels you're able to select don't line up with channels we have here in the US, so effectively you don't have a radio. Maybe you have a radio with like one or two stations that are more or less random. So you got a glove box, you have a little storage thing down there. You can see inside the truck, so it was a C rating. For a C, I actually think the truck is very good on the inside. The pedals show a little bit of wear, and the seat does have some ripping, but all in all, it's quite good. You can see the numbers on my shifter are all but gone. This truck came with 73,000 kilometers. This only has a 5-digit odometer, so it's hard to know whether or not that's 173,000 or just 73,000. So you have a little bit of storage back here. This seat lifts up, and in the Sambar, what's underneath the passenger seat is just a your radiator cap and your washing fluid cap, and then it's just a hole. Off to the side there is the radiator, and this truck does have an electric cooling fan that'll kick in when the truck needs to cool off a little bit, and it does it all automatic, so even if you turn the truck off, it'll continue to run. Some of the other Kei trucks have a flatter dash going across, which is maybe better for storage, but I got a little mask hook, so I'll take you to the back and show you the motor. So again, the bed, headache rack. That is a bed light that you can turn on with the switch here. It only turns on when the ignition is turned. You'll see the engine panel on the Sambar is way in the back. So the different Kei trucks have different engine locations. Suzuki Carry, Daihatsu Hi-Jet, the Mitsubishi as well, I believe. The engine is inside the cab, underneath that passenger seat. Honda Acti, you have it somewhere around here. And then the Sambar, it's a true rear-wheel drive. The engine is way in the back. So I'll show you that. The Subaru Sambar is also unique because it has a 4-cylinder engine as opposed to a 2-cylinder. I did have to do a good amount of work to this engine to get it to run strong. I think mine maybe came with some issues that you wouldn't necessarily have to worry about if you also went with an importer, but every situation's a little different. I'm gonna keep moving forward. It's a little too hard to close that. I'll start the truck. So like I said, independent suspension on the Sambar and rear engine gives the truck a good weight balance, and it also helps take a lot of noise out of the truck when you are driving. This has what they call a 5-speed. It has 6 forward speeds and 1 reverse. Standard pattern: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in reverse. The 6th forward gear is an ultra low, so you push it past the lock and forward, and that is your climbing gear. When you're in that gear, you will automatically engage 4-wheel drive, which is otherwise available in all the speeds at the push of the button. This truck is the carbureted motor. So the Sambar was available with electronic fuel injection and supercharged, and this, the EN07 carbureted. I'll show you it starting up. No gas. Oop. When I first built the truck, it would start extremely well. Now it takes a second, but it runs stronger. So really not too much of a smell. Runs quite smooth. I'll show you with the lights on. Mine has the antenna mounted on the top of the cab. You'll see some Sambars where the antenna runs up along the door there. So, and I'll show you real fast. So if you look at the dash, if I hit this button, you can hear the sound and 4-wheel drive will come on. That circle with the red is the parking brake indicator, and then you hit the button again and the 4-wheel drive comes off. That is where you put the gas. It does require you to put the key in, so that's a little bit of a goofy thing when you go to fill it up. This truck came with these little, I don't know what you call those. I can tell you that with the windows down, the truck is very quiet, so I'm not sure if those are to attribute, but if you're buying one of these trucks, it's one of those simple accessories that helps. You can find many videos where people fold down the bed sides. It really is as easy as everyone says. I leave them up. When the bed sides fold, you have these chains. Mine are just dangling, but they let you fold a panel down and have it kind of stop at a 90-degree angle. Whoops, forgot to turn off the lights. You can see there's no beep. There's no beep when you leave your lights on and walk away from the truck, so you got to be careful. It does have a cabin light. In here is your power steering. I put 30 weight motor oil in the truck, just straight 30 weight. I think, you know, there's a little bit of like, you know, guessing as to what you put in the truck because the owner's manual is translated from Japanese. I'll close this panel in the back. Very difficult. There we go. And there you go. I will do a driving video. I'll figure out a way to mount the phone.